हाय किड्स। तो आज हम एक नया चैप्टर पढ़ने जा रहे हैं क्लास 7 का, which is chapter 1 integers. So now in integers we are going to study that what are integers. So when we say integers, the set of whole numbers and negative natural numbers are called integers. So set of whole numbers and negative natural numbers. Negative natural numbers. These group of numbers are called integers. We all know that whole numbers are numbers which start from 0, the positive numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. And we are going to study the next part of numbers, which is negative numbers. We can also represent that integers is a group of number where we have negative numbers. We know what is the negative sign and we can represent it like this. But because also we have positive numbers in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Here also it goes increasing and on the other side also. Here we have missed -1. We can also count that as well. So we are going to talk about what about a 0. So is 0 a positive number? Is 0 a negative number? So in that case, I'm going to clarify that 0 is neither positive nor negative. 0 is never termed as positive or negative number. So basically when we study, what we get to know is that for every positive natural number, there exists an opposite number which is the negative of a. So what I mean is that if I have a number plus a, in all the cases, there will be a number which I'm going to represent as minus a. So every number is a positive number and it has a negative number also, which is represented by minus a. If I have to add both these numbers, that means plus a add minus a, my answer is always going to be 0. How come? If I have a plus 2 and I take a minus 2 away from it, let's see, take a more live example. Like if I give you 2 toffees, that's a plus 2. I just gave you 2 and then I took 2 back from you, that's a minus 2. So what are you left with? Nothing. So that means you have 0. So that's why we say the sum of a positive number and the same negative number brings us the answer 0. So normally you see that we write positive numbers as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. It doesn't mean that it does not have a sign. A number which has no sign has a plus sign. It means it is +1, +2, +3, +4 and so on. Just to simplify it, we make it 1, 2, 3. So we remove the plus sign to understand it easily and to make it a little less complex. So another topic that we're going to study in this is about predecessors and successors of the numbers. Let's see it through a number line. So now if I have to check out predecessors and successors of my positive and negative numbers, how am I going to do so? So for that, we are going to draw a number line on which I'm going to take both sides, positive side and negative side. On the right side of the 0 are my positive numbers. And of the left side on my 0, I have negative numbers. I put an arrow, which means that these number lines are extendable. That means I can write as many as numbers I want. So if I'm looking for a successor, the number which comes after, I'm going to move towards the right. So if I have to check out the number successor, I'm going to go towards the right. So if I want to check out what is the successor of -5, it is going to be -4. It comes after -5. Okay, and if I want to go to predecessor, the number which comes before, is always going to be on my left side. So it's very simple for positive numbers. Like if I want to say a successor for 3 is going to be 4 and predecessor is going to be 2. But when we think of negative numbers, we tend to get confused. But you don't need to get confused. It's clear that if you're looking for a successor, you just need to move on the right side. That is, if you're looking for a successor of -3, it's going to be -2. And if you're looking for a predecessor, you're just going to go on the left side, that is -4. Now, if I talk about going a number greater or a number smaller, then what I'm going to do is, let's check out for a number which is greater. Again, if I'm looking for a number which is greater than 3, so that all the numbers which are greater than 3 are going to lie on the right side of 3. That is after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and so on. If I'm looking for a number which is greater than -2, it's going to be all the numbers on the right side after -2. That is -1, -0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And so I'm just going to move towards the right. If I'm looking for a smaller number, again I'm going to go on the left side. So if I'm looking for a number which is smaller, let's make it more clear. So if I'm looking for a number which is smaller than 1, is going to be 0, -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5. That is, I'm going to go towards the left side. So this is the predecessor and successor. Let's move on to a next small topic that we're going to cover in this video. The next topic which we talk about in the apps is absolute value of integer. So when we talk about absolute value, is that we talk about a value of a number regardless of what sign it has. So if I have, so we represent an absolute value by putting it in a mod, putting in 2 bars, which we call a mod. So modulus of A gives us answer A if the number is positive, and modulus of negative A will also give me the answer as A positive. So basically we are just ignoring the sign. We are ignoring the sign in the absolute value. So ignoring the sign of the integer. That is the absolute value. So this shows that whether a number of mod A positive or a mod A negative will always be greater but never less than. That means if it is A, answer comes to be A or -A, again it comes to be A, the result of a modulus or an absolute value is always going to be higher. Can you see? -A is less than A. So if I talk about -5 and 5, 5 is always greater than -5. So that is what we're trying to talk here, that A value which I get will always be greater than the modulus value. So absolute value is always going to be greater, but it's never going to be less than your number. So let's clear it with a small example. If I'm talking about -5, I'm going to get a 5. My 5 is always bigger than -5. If I talk about -4, I'll get a 4. So if I talk about 4, the answer is going to be 4. So the absolute value can either be equal or can be greater, but never be less.